I am 78 years old, and I only understood what truly matters when most of my chances to act on it were already gone. That's the part that still feels the heaviest when I wake up in the morning. I don't wake up with pain first. I wake up with memory. It comes before my feet touch the floor. It comes before I remember what day it is. It comes with the quiet. The house is quiet now, not the comfortable kind, the kind that has no one else inside it. I used to think silence was something you earned later, a reward. I didn't know it could feel like a consequence. I am not saying this because I want sympathy. I don't need that. I'm saying it because I know now that time does not feel like it is passing while it is passing. It feels like it is standing still. And then one day, it isn't. When I was younger, I believed that what mattered was what could be built. A career, a reputation, something solid, something that could be pointed to. I thought the soft things could wait. I thought conversations could wait. Visits could wait. Apologies could wait. Presents could wait. I was wrong about the waiting. I was not careless. I was responsible. I showed up for work. I paid my bills. I kept my promises in the ways that were visible. I just didn't notice what I wasn't showing up for. In my 30s, my life was full of noise, full of movement, full of people who knew me in passing, colleagues, neighbors, acquaintances, people who knew my name but not my inner life. I mistook that for connection. I would come home tired and say I'd talk tomorrow. I would skip dinners because I had deadlines. I would nod during conversations and think about something else. I didn't think I was choosing work over people. I thought I was choosing stability. I didn't realize I was choosing distance. My wife used to ask me simple things. Can you sit with me for a minute? Can you listen to this? Can we eat together tonight? They didn't sound urgent, so I treated them as optional. I said yes sometimes, just enough to feel decent about myself, but not enough to be present in the way that stays. I loved her. I know I did. But love, I've learned, is not the same as attention. Attention is what makes love real to the other person. I gave mine in fragments. I told myself we had time. We always have time until we don't. The children grew in the background of my life. I saw them, but I didn't sit inside their worlds. I knew their schedules better than their thoughts. I knew what they needed materially. I didn't know what they worried about. I didn't ask. Not because I didn't care, because I assumed I would later. Later is a dangerous word. Later feels endless when you are young. It feels very small when you are old. When the children left home, I felt proud. I told people they were independent, that we had done well. What I didn't say was that I didn't know them anymore, and I didn't know when that happened. There was no argument, no falling out, no moment you could point to, just a thinning, a gradual thinning of shared space, phone calls that became shorter, visits that became less frequent, updates instead of conversations. And then one day, you realize you don't know the texture of their lives anymore. You only know the headlines. My work gave me structure. It gave me a reason to get up. It gave me an identity that people respected. But it did not give me intimacy. I confused respect with closeness. They are not the same. At 58, my wife became ill, not suddenly, quietly. At first, it was small things, fatigue, forgetfulness, a tremor in her hand that she laughed about. We adapted. I still thought we had time. When the diagnosis came, I remember thinking in terms of logistics, doctors, schedules, insurance, planning. I did not think in terms of finality. That came later. When she was gone, I was surprised by what hurt. It was not the big things. It was not the milestones. It was the ordinary things that had been happening every day without me noticing them. The sound of her moving in the kitchen, the way she would touch my arm when she passed behind me, the way she would say my name when she wanted my attention. I realized then how much of our life had been happening around me rather than with me, and I could not go back into it. There is a cruelty to that kind of clarity. It arrives when your ability to respond is already limited. After she died, people were kind. They checked on me. They brought food. They sat with me. Then, slowly, they returned to their lives, which is what people do. And I returned to mine, which was now very empty. That's when I understood something that feels obvious now and was invisible then. What matters is not what you accumulate. It is what accumulates in you, the shared memories, the small rituals, the private language between people who know each other well. I had not invested in those, not intentionally, just consistently. And consistency is what builds a life. I look back and I don't see a villain. I see a man who thought he was doing the right things in the right order. I see a man who postponed the parts of life that did not demand immediate attention. I see a man who thought meaning was something you reached after effort, not something you practiced along the way. I am not angry at him. I am sad for him, because he did not know what he was trading. Now, I live in a smaller world, not just physically, emotionally. My days are quiet. I take walks. I read. I make simple meals. I think. I think about conversations I didn't have, questions I didn't ask, moments I rushed through. I think about how often I was present in body, but not in spirit. I think about how often I listened just enough to respond, not enough to understand. And I understand now that presence is not passive. It is an action. It is a choice, one I did not make often enough. If you are listening to this, I am not telling you what to do. I am only telling you what I see from here. From here, success looks smaller than I thought. From here, busyness looks thinner. From here, what mattered was who I was with when nothing important was happening. Those were the moments that were alive. Those were the moments that built something that lasts. I didn't know that. I thought life would announce its important parts. It doesn't. It whispers them, and you only hear them if you are quiet enough to listen. I am quiet now. Quieter than I ever was when I was younger. That is one of the ironies. I have time now, but not the people, not the opportunities, not the moments. Time by itself is not generous. It needs something to fill it. I fill mine with memory. That is what I have. I don't regret my entire life. There was love. There was meaning. There were good years. But I regret the shape of my attention. I regret where I placed it. I regret how easily I gave it away to things that cannot remember me, that cannot sit beside me, that cannot hold my hand. I am 78 now. I feel the edges of time. I feel them in my body, in my energy, in how long it takes me to recover from a cold, in how often I think about endings. I am not afraid of dying. I am aware of it. That is different. What I am aware of most is what does not come with me. The people do not. The moments do not. Only the feeling of how I live them. That stays. That is what I will carry. And so I speak now, not because I expect to be heard widely, but because I know how rare honesty becomes when time is short. I am not trying to make this meaningful. It already is, because it is true. And truth does not need decoration. It only needs space. That is what I am offering. Space for you to notice what is already in your life, not because you should, but because one day you will look back and you will see what you are actually doing. I hope you like what you see. I am still learning how to accept what I did. Some days are easier than others. Some days I feel peaceful. Some days I feel the weight again. That is how it is. I am not resolved. I am not healed. I am simply here, aware, and that is enough for now. If any of this lands with you, I'd appreciate it if you'd share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment and let me know what's one small thing you're going to pay more attention to. And subscribe if you want more of these conversations. I've got a bit more to say before I'm done, and I'd like to say it to people who actually want to listen.